Hello everyone, I'm Gary York, and thank you Tier Talk and Anthony Ganji for having me on the show tonight. And I'm proud to also be on the show tonight with retired Wisconsin Captain Mr. Keith Helwig, a good friend of mine, and also Mr. Earl Gene Trainer from Missouri, the Missouri State Corrections. Appreciate it, and I'm glad and honored to be with all of you. I was asked tonight to touch on a topic about a scenario where you may be on a shift as a correctional officer and 2 or 3 of your officers may be having some suspicious activity, and it's been bothering you, and it's not only been bothering you, it's been bothering some other people. So on the shift, laughing and joking with inmates, spending too much time with inmates, going in their cell maybe and talking to the inmates and staying in there too long. Also, when a code is called to assist your fellow officers, those 2 or 3 certain people, the same ones, are not running to code, and there's suspicion among you and other officers that they may be anti-correctional officer as well. Several issues could be arising in that scenario, so let me go over those things. And if you get a chance, I have my own YouTube channel. I've been invited tonight on Mr. Anthony Ganji's. It's Gary York True Prison Stories, and if you get a chance, please subscribe to that. It used to be Gary York Corruption Behind Bars. It's now True Prison Stories. There could be a possible staff-inmate relationship beginning, possible introduction of contraband beginning. Also, if there is a suspicion among more than one officer that these 2 or 3 officers are possibly anti-correctional officers, you may have a gang issue even coming into play. You never know, and you never leave out any of these possibilities. And by not running to code, they're violating not only their oath to protect their fellow officers, but they're violating some administrative rules that you are failing to respond to your duties. You're also possibly could fall under cowardice. In my book, if you do not respond to help your fellow officers, that is cowardice. And what do you do about it? Well, always, just like in the military, we're a paramilitary unit in corrections. Go to your first line supervisor. Don't go above your supervisor's head ever. Even if you have thoughts that they may not take your allegations seriously, they're the supervisor and they have the right to know first. So you go to your sergeant, if that's who's your first line supervisor, and you report this to them. And if you have a good supervisor will listen to your complaint, and they will inform you that they don't have to get back with you immediately, but they will look into the situation, and a good supervisor won't take much time to look into the situation, because a good supervisor does not want any problems on the shift. And this type of complaint, of course, is time-consuming, stressful on some supervisors, and it's going to take some work, and they have to take away from other issues that are pressing to take care of this. But a good supervisor will do that. A poor supervisor will not listen, ignore the complaint, not do anything about it, and that is not good. That is very bad. The longer this situation goes, either way, whether it's substantiated or not substantiated, the longer a supervisor allows a situation like this to continue, the worse it gets. If it's really happening, you're allowing some illegal activities to start occurring on your shift. If it's not happening, you're getting the morale down of the good officers for not taking some kind of action and at least checking out the problem. So it's a two-way street, and both sides need a fair and impartial investigation conducted. If you're a good supervisor, you will do that. And I hope in most cases that's what's happening. If it is not happening that way and your supervisor does nothing, then rather than one officer go, all the officers that have this awareness and anything they may know, they should go to the next in the chain of command and let them know what's going on. It's not allowed to continue. It should not be allowed to be continued. And look, if we tell our officers it's your duty to report misconduct, and your first line supervisor doesn't do anything about it, then it needs to go to the next supervisor in the chain of command. We cannot allow this to fester. Addressing complaints that arise can help put out the fires before they turn into huge fires. Taking care of problems in a timely manner shows you mean business as a supervisor, and it also lets your employees know you're willing to take care of them. So, please, if you have this situation going, don't let it discourage you if you go to your first line supervisor and nothing happens. There are more supervisors in the chain of command, but be respectful. Always be respectful to your supervisors no matter what they say, and go up the chain of command. And the more the merrier, because if a supervisor sees several of you with the same complaint, it'll have a greater effect. Even though if it's only one that makes a complaint, the same outcome should happen. Thank you for listening. Gary York on YouTube, True Prison Stories. Thank you, Anthony Ganji from Tear Talk, for having me. Take care.